Well, everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Built Different. Today, we've got somebody really special, and we're pretty pumped to have this conversation with Mr. Jacob Asparian. And if you don't follow Jacob on social media or anything like that, make sure you do. We'll drop your socials here.
Yeah.
And we're venturing out a little bit of just real estate, because you know this podcast is not just about real estate. It's about success, growth, entrepreneurship, and truly being built different. So we want to bring on very unique individuals who have a high impact on whatever industry that they are in. So Jacob, welcome, and we're excited to have you
Thanks,
here.
guys. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Well, why don't you just start off with a little bit about yourself, because
Yeah.
you were in real estate.
Yeah.
For a very long time, you were successfully trading and selling.
Yep.
And then you decided to get into the crypto space.
Right.
Which was
So
taboo at the time.
Yes. Very.
Yeah, like how long ago? Like, what's the story behind that?
Yeah. So I'm still a realtor. I still have my license.
Okay.
I operate out of a real estate office, but it hasn't been my focal point for since COVID. So I've been a realtor for 20 years. I loved it. It was a passion project of mine. I loved helping people. I truly enjoyed it. It elevated me. To get better in the business, you have to get better. So I really absorbed a lot of that kind of stuff. I got into Bitcoin around 2016, 2017. My family and friends were like, all right, we get it, but please stop talking about it. Like they were just, fed up with it.
So what was Bitcoin trading for at 2016, 2017? What was the market cap? What was
1,500 to 3,000, and then it ran up to 17,000 and it collapsed. And I got caught up in the run up. So I wasn't like in there when it was building. I got there like when it was running up to 17,000, 20,000. Nice. And then it crashed and everyone lost interest again, but I was still sticking around. And I just got obsessed. Like I read every book I could. I was using my office as just like a place for me to like study.
Yeah.
I was losing a lot of interest in real estate. Right away, I was like, okay, this is something interesting. Anyways, my family told me like, look, we're happy you're excited, but we don't care.
Gotcha.
You know? Please stop talking about it. And the entrepreneur side of me said, okay, what can I do to stay in this, make money in it, and continue to grow? Because I just knew there was a lot of potential in it. And so I started working on it behind the scenes. I founded onebitcoin.ca primarily as an educational platform, because one of the biggest issues I noticed right off the hop was everyone mixed up Bitcoin and crypto.
Still.
They still.
Yeah.
But even more so before. Like
Sure.
now we got legislation, regulation coming in.
Yeah.
Governments are noticing the difference with them. But before it was just like, yes, Bitcoin is crypto. What's the difference?
So
Yeah.
what is the difference?
So the big difference is Bitcoin is a technology that is digital scarcity.
Okay.
Point blank period, the most simple way you can explain it to somebody is Bitcoin is a digital asset that I can transfer to you without a third party. Now picture any other digital transaction. You're going to e-transfer somebody, there's multiple parties involved. Why?
Sure.
Because you need that point person
Yeah.
who's operating the ledger. Without a third party before Bitcoin, you don't know who's running who's got what. So you're always using RBC and TD, and they're all speaking on behalf of us and all this kind of stuff. So Bitcoin fundamentally is digital scarcity. It's something that we never could even imagine having for the last 40 years. So what Bitcoin has allowed us to do is a whole bunch of other innovations. Crypto is real. Crypto has stable coins, tokens, all these great innovations, but there's a third party involved in there. There is there's an entity, there's somebody helping you set that up, whereas with Bitcoin there isn't. There's just you and the protocol. You don't need a third party to hold it, to receive it, to send it, anything. And that's like, it was just like a really groundbreaking, revolutionary innovation. And so I founded onebitcoin.ca. People start asking us if we sell it, and I'm like, well, we might as well. Got our MSB license and started selling it, and now almost 7 years later, we've got tens of thousands of clients across the country. We've sold hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and it's allowed us to get into other areas of the infrastructure as well.
So what was your like aha moment where you were like, okay, there's something here and I want to be a part of it?
When I really understood what Bitcoin was. When it just clicked one day where I was like, holy, like this is a really like revolutionary asset for a variety of reasons. Like my family left Lebanon during the Civil War in the early 80s.
Right.
And it always, it was a story that really resonated. My uncle told me they owned a jewelry store and they had gold, and like I'm even getting goosebumps even thinking about it, because they were traveling with everything they had across the border, and the militants thankfully didn't kill them, but they robbed them. Mm-hmm. With Bitcoin, they would have been protected from that because they could have left their country with all their worth with 1224 words in their head. Right. And that right there was something that really clicked with me. Another angle was I'm a realtor, and I was a realtor that, budgeting wasn't my forte for the longest time, and paying the government wasn't always a priority either. Yeah. And I had a mix-up or two with them when I was, I started this business when I was 22, so I made every mistake you can possibly make in the business. And one of the mistakes was not paying the government on time. And they closed all my accounts down.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget like paying for groceries and they're like, no, your account, it's inactive.
Sure.
And it's like they didn't notify me. And it was just being able to get shut down was so weird to me. And then learning about Bitcoin where it's like you can't get shut down. Nobody can take that from you, right? Yeah. So it was all these different experiences I've had over the years that kind of just helped me click. And yeah, once I understood it, I was like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's interesting because I had a very similar experience. So this is years and years and years ago when I first got my license. I was selling real estate and like I was making enough, but I was blowing it and I didn't pay CRA. And then one day I actually went to go get a haircut, put my bank card in the ATM to pull it out and it said that it wasn't working. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? When I called the bank, apparently CRA like shut it down because I owed them a few $1,000s. It wasn't even anything crazy.
Yeah.
So after that, I was just like, holy shit, I better pay my taxes, number one. Otherwise, I'm at their mercy. So the whole point of like Bitcoin, from my understanding, like I'm starting to get a better understanding of it now, is that it like initially came because of the decentralization.
Yep.
Like that was the big thing around it. Is it still that? Like, is it going to be centralized or is it always going to be decentralized?
No, it's decentralized.
Okay.
And it's decentralized in the sense that like the way the internet is decentralized, nobody controls the internet, but there's companies that are building on the internet and those companies are centralized and they've got things going on with them. With Bitcoin, it is a decentralized protocol. Nobody controls it. Nobody can change it. The day it was launched in, I think, 2009, the seed was out there. You can't change the trajectory of it. It's operating as intended, and it has for the last 17 years.
Why is it so volatile? Like it's up and it's down, it's up.
So
and it's down.
yeah, the volatility thing is, look, the volatility is market pricing something in real time.
Sure.
And something's not going to go from 0 to 100 trillion plus in a straight line.
Yeah, fair.
It's going to go through its ups and downs. Same with stocks, same with real estate. They go through their ups and downs. Humans are irrational beings. So when things are going good, it goes over the top. And when things are going bad, it goes over correcting.
Yeah.
And then finally it finds that like stable ground. And that's what's happened with Bitcoin. When you look at the volatility, that's what one of the main things I tell people is don't trade it. And the same thing I used to tell people with real estate. Don't trade and try to flip real estate unless that's your contractor and that's all you do. If you're thinking about real estate as a long-term wealth vehicle, buy and hold. Because you're going to be better off if you just let it sit, let the market do its thing, and in the long run, that real estate's going to do well for you. Same thing with Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. The market can be way more irrational than you.
Sure.
So there's no rhyme or reason for it. So it's just a market pricing thing that's happening in real time.
Did you invest in crypto yourself? Did you consider it? And like if you didn't, like what was the holdback?
Yeah, I think this was maybe 7 years ago. Me and my buddies that I was working with at the time, we were like really going down the blockchain crypto rabbit hole, and we came across this one. It was called like IOTA.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost a lot of money doing that. I was younger at the time, so I just said, here, take this. You know what you're talking about. Go for it. And I think a month passed and we never brought it up. It was like taboo. We never talked about it.
Just like, forget it. We shall not speak of it.
But I went into it with the intention of like, let's try this and see what it is. Hindsight's 2020. I should have done my homework and research at the time. But I was in that, I thought, like you're saying, that Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain was all in the same type of realm. But that was my like direct experience trying something out. And not that it left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't put enough time into learning to pull any lessons out, really and truly. But
you got to get burnt. Like, look, I got burnt. Everybody makes the same mistakes. It's a steep learning curve. And even 7 years ago, there was nobody telling you really, hey, don't. There was, but not many people are going to listen because everyone's like, no, it's all the same thing. Bitcoin is the technology. So think about Bitcoin as the internet.
Sure.
And every other crypto is a company. It's a Facebook, it's a Google, it's an Enron. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of shady people operating in the ecosystem because they're preying on people's lack of knowledge on what this is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you've got a lot of people selling you these stories of like, this is the new next Bitcoin. It's like, no, there's only one Bitcoin. That's the innovation. You can't redo digital scarcity. Everything else is a company. And that's fine, but just know the risks involved. Whereas a protocol is going to be used. The United States government is running a Bitcoin node right now.
Yeah.
The military has, looked into Bitcoin for years. So it's growing and it's being adopted at a very, very fast pace now.
Okay, so what's going on with it? Why is it crashing right now? Seems like it was at around 120, 135 USD, and now it's almost half of that. And
almost half. And the whole thing is usually bear markets, we see an 80%, a 70%
correct,
pullback.
yeah.
So this one's a little bit shallower. So again, the run up was just this. The narrative for this bull market was a lot of corporate adoption. Okay. So for the first 15 years, corporations couldn't even buy Bitcoin if they wanted to. The regulations actually prohibited them from doing it. Accounting practices were actually punitive. So if you held Bitcoin on your exchange, on your company, the way the accounting practices work, where you could only write it off if the price went down, but you couldn't change the price of it if the price went up.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that was something they were working on in the background for years. That's been changed. So now for the last 2 years, you've got the Bitcoin ETF in the United States, 70, 80 billion within the first couple months of inflows. You got corporations holding it. 2 of the top 10 companies on the stock market right now hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets. So we're just going through the process that we went through with retail adoption. It went up, now it crashed, it's going to stabilize, and we're going to go through the same thing in the next 2 to 4 years.
So right now, if you have Bitcoin and if you're going to go to a bank and use it as collateral or asset, they don't even recognize that. At what point do you think they're going to get there? Because now I feel like it's been accepted.
Yep.
Like globally, and and it's publicly accepted. People consider it an asset. The only people that don't consider it an asset yet is the banks.
Right.
I feel like it's inevitable. Like, do you feel the same way? And when do you think?
100%, it is inevitable, but the banks don't move quick, and because the banks don't move quick, because regulations don't move quick. The banks don't like any risk.
Sure.
So the banks they go where the money's at, and they understand this is a real asset. They want to lend against it, but regulations have to catch up.
Right.
So regulations in Canada are about 5 to 10 years behind the United States.
Sure.
So in the next decade, TD will eventually custody your Bitcoin for you. RBC will give you a loan against your Bitcoin. Until then, there's going to be a lot of new companies coming to the market to fill that void. Because the banks just can't, even if they want to, because the regulations don't allow them to.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that lag, as you say, like what, 10 years?
I would say so. I would say so. Like I'm involved. I'm lucky to be involved on the back end. I talk with a lot of regulators because I've come out very, very clearly and loudly from the very beginning saying Bitcoin only, and regulators like that. Right, because they know I'm not trying to push anything else. Bitcoin is recognized as a digital commodity by the government of Canada, an asset that has no issuer or nobody controlling it. So like it's like me just saying real estate is a great asset. I'm championing a new digital innovation, but to change the regulations behind the scenes, all the top regulators are saying it's going to take at least 10 to 15 years to get clear regulations in place.
Sorry, how long ago was it that you started dabbling into it?
I got in 2016. I founded One Bitcoin in 2019.
So almost a decade. Of like dabbling into it. So what surprises have you come across? Like what discoveries have you made? What are just some cool things that you discovered?
One thing is I was actually surprised with how I thought people would adopt it a lot quicker. Like when I first heard Tesla was adopting it in, I think it was 2021, 2022, when they came out and I said, Tesla, one of the biggest companies in the world, is saying, we're buying Bitcoin on our reserves. It felt like we'd won.
They bought like a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
Did they not? It was like 900 million?
Yeah. They had over, they actually bought 2 billion and they ended up selling $1 billion, but they kept 1 billion back then.
Okay.
When that happened, I was like, oh my God, okay, like Elon Musk, richest man in the world, Tesla, his company.
It's backed.
It's done. But there's skepticism really blew me away with how skeptical things were. But it's been exciting to see the growth slowly. Before I used to argue and debate. Now somebody's like, Bitcoin's not real. I'm like, okay, that's no problem. It's like it's like a FSBO coming to your open house and arguing with you that real estate's. It's like, okay, cool. That's your opinion. That's market.
See you later.
Knock yourself out. But it's been interesting just seeing the growth and the conversations change. And even like there's an event that I'm hosting in 2 days. We've got Royal Bank there. And they had to personally approve that there's going to be a Bitcoin company there. Whereas 5 years ago, it wouldn't even be a consideration, right? I've had bank accounts shut down just because I'm in Bitcoin. And so the banks haven't been aggressive because they want to, they just don't want to touch anything that they feel is risky.
Sure.
So they're just going around, like I've had bank accounts shut down. It's been very difficult finding bank accounts to do business with. So it's been a challenge. It's getting easier slowly but surely.
So my question to you about that is like, obviously it's good because it's decentralized. Right? If you're a capitalist, you're going to love it just because it's like free for all. But then there's obviously, certain policymakers, governments that don't like it for whatever reason. Like why do you think that is? And what is it? Like, who is it that is against it? Who is it that's for it? Who does it benefit? Who does it hurt?
That's a good angle to look at it from. Okay. I think Bitcoin is for everybody. Whether you're hard right, capitalist, anarcho-capitalist, want to be left alone, no government involvement. But I also believe Bitcoin is going to be necessary for your lefty, NDP, you think the government should be involved in everything, because that's like saying they should be using the internet. Both sides of the aisle should use the internet because it betters their people. It's the policies of how you approach it that you're going to be different.
Correct.
The only governments that are opposed Bitcoin when they truly understand it are the totalitarian dictatorships. China has banned Bitcoin multiple times.
Yes.
Turkey has banned Bitcoin multiple times. There have been a lot of countries that aren't really touted for their freedoms and personal liberties that have said Bitcoin is bad. But that's because it allows you to understand that you actually have freedom for yourself.
Yeah.
And so the only person that's going to tell you not to have Bitcoin when they understand it is the people that don't want you to become powerful and don't really actually like save for yourself. Now, running Bitcoin, very challenging. You could lose your passwords. You could lose your wealth. There's a lot of risks involved because there's no 1-800 number to call to help you. So there is a very steep learning curve. So that's why I tell people, don't go balls to the wall, putting everything in cold storage yourself, nothing involved.
Yeah.
There's layers to this, and you're going to do it as you get more comfortable with it. But it is a technology for all people, all walks of life, across all aisles.
So how does your company help out, people that are interested but don't necessarily know how to go about it and like where to buy it and like make sure that they're protecting themselves and that they're not just going to like random places where they're going to get scammed, because you hear a lot of that.
I guess
stuff.
you are the 1-800 number.
Yeah.
There we go.
To a certain extent, because we've got, like, knock on wood, it's a great problem to have. We've gotten so busy. We aren't able to take on clients to give them one-on-one consulting anymore. So we have resources on the website, onebitcoin.ca, shameless plug. It has all the information you need, from a very beginner to somebody going deep down the rabbit hole, wanting to learn about different aspects of where Bitcoin touches. There are a lot of great companies that focus on only educating. There's a lot of great YouTube videos. There's a lot of books. There's a lot of resources. There's ChatGPT and Claude.
Okay.
When I was not a techie when I got into Bitcoin.
Sure.
So like when I'm downloading nodes and I'm doing all these like things, these techie things were very foreign to me, and I had to go reading through like Reddit and like these forum posts. Whereas now with Claude, here's my issue, what do I do? And it just walks you through it step by step. So you've got a little bit more help out there.
Are you a Claude guy or a ChatGPT guy?
I'm a both.
Okay.
Yeah, I use Claude, ChatGPT, and Grok, and I kind of make them debate each other sometimes. Different perspectives. Okay. But my workhorse is Claude now.
Claude, okay.
Yeah.
Are you the same?
I'm still finding that I'm good with chat.
Yeah, my chat knows me so well.
I'm assuming you started with chat, right? So you transitioned over. Why and how? Because I know you're using both, but if your core is Claude, why?
Claude is for my more in-depth, like really deep thinking articles, blogs, papers that I'm giving regulators and legislators. It just has it's got like a weird grasp on things, a lot more than ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is like my workhorse. It's just like I just like ask a quick question. It's like the one I just have on my phone. But Claude is, if I'm doing deep thinking and deep work, I just go to it because I feel like it's a lot more responsive. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like it knows what I'm asking a little bit more, and it gets deeper. Okay. Even the articles or the documents that it prints out is just, there's not too many prompts. Like, all right, put this in the document, give it to me in PDF. Okay. It's just like, okay. So it just feels easier.
So how does AI like work with crypto? Does it have any sort of relation? Like, has it impacted it? Like, what's the future of it? Like, what are your thoughts with AI and crypto combined?
Okay.
He's like, how long do we have?
How long do we have? We have like 5 hours? Okay. I've been thinking a lot about this because there are two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
AI is abundant information. It is closing and it's compressing the marginal cost of information to nothing.
Okay. Yes.
So like before, when I first launched One Bitcoin, I had spent $50,000 in consulting, lawyers, MSB compliance fees, all this kind of stuff because I wanted to make sure it was done properly. And it took a very, very long time.
Yes.
Every company I have started thereafter has been done in a week.
Wow, yeah.
With no back and forth, with me just sending them my thoughts, like correct where you disagree with me, and then we'll move on with it. It has just moved everything way faster. In the future, okay, so we got AI, which is abundant information.
Sure.
On the other side, you got Bitcoin, which is digital scarcity, the complete opposite. So one side you got digital abundance, and the other side you got something digital that actually has a limited absolute amount. Mm-hmm. So if your AI wants to get paid, agentic is going to be the next wave. Agentic agents to agentic agents. What are they going to want to pay themselves with? If you ask your AI, what crypto do you want to use if you're going to start making money? and ask them to talk about first principles, they will say they want to get paid in Bitcoin. Your AI will tell you that with no prompting, right? And so Bitcoin is going to be the foundation to everything that AI is being built on the retail, like for us level. On the back end with the mining, AI is very energy intensive. It uses a lot of energy.
Cool. Yeah.
So does Bitcoin. And so a lot of Bitcoin miners are now pivoting to AI mining, a lot of doing hybrids, a lot of the sites that we never looked at AI, now we're bringing high compute in because it pays better.
Yeah.
So how many Bitcoins have been mined?
There's about 20 million, just over 20 million has been mined. So we've got like less than a million for the next 140 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because
the
there's a
inflation
lot of
schedule tapers
people
off.
that had it like locked in cold storage, and I guess they forgot the password. Like that is gone indefinitely, right?
Yeah, we've all heard that story of the guy that threw his passwords
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was like
Yeah,
going
you
diving
hear
in the
those
dumpster
stories, yeah.
for seven. Yeah, he bought them when he got the 7,000, they were worth like $3 a pop,
Sure.
right? So the security wasn't there. Whereas now, if somebody's buying it, they've got a lot more security protocols in place. They've got more help. They got custody companies. So you're not seeing the people losing it anymore. But yeah, every bit of Bitcoin that has been lost, or unfortunately, sadly, somebody passing away, and that didn't have proper instructions for their family to have access to it, that's gone as well.
Wow.
Right? And so it's, again, like it is a very, very serious asset. And when you're thinking about it, it's got to be very long term. It's generational. I'm not buying Bitcoin to flip it, to buy a car. I'm buying it. It's like digital real estate to give to my son.
So what was your intention with starting One Bitcoin? Like, what was your end goal with it?
I wanted to make money.
Sure.
Right? Like I've been an entrepreneur. I've been self-employed my entire life. I grew up in a family of small business owners. So for me, it was always just kind of figuring out where the next opportunity to build a business was. And then this was my first time. Real estate was very important to me. But with real estate, I always knew I was doing it. I didn't enjoy showing houses. It wasn't like when people like, I love finding people their dream home. It's like, no, I was really good at what I did.
Sure.
I love negotiating and I love getting paid for the work that I did.
Yeah.
This was the meld of like, I love the thesis of where this is going, and this is a good that every Canadian or every individual needs. So it was just like I just knew. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to be in. And I just knew it's such a fast growing arena. It's a big blue ocean.
Did you have a mentor or anything like that along in your early
Like
stages?
the people I've read,
Right.
like Andreas Antonopoulos, Michael Saylor, Jeff Booth. These are guys that I like really absorbed a lot of the stuff that they said on YouTube in their books, but nobody in real life.
Yeah. So a lot of it was just you going on the fly.
Yeah.
And experiencing the ups and downs, the
Fig-
peaks
yeah.
and valleys yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Figuring it out on my own.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was
That's
pretty
awesome.
wild.
So where do you think we're at in the terms of the cycle goes? Like, have people missed the boat on Bitcoin, or is there still a lot of opportunity?
No.
Is it a sell time or is it a buy time?
Here's what I tell people. Imagine you just spoke to somebody today and they're like, I've never used the internet.
Sure.
Would you tell them it's too late for you? Don't bother signing up. It's like, it's pretty much absorbed. No.
Yeah.
Because the internet is a technology.
Correct.
I want people to think of it as, how can I use this technology so it's not too late? Did you miss the crazy 1000x? Yeah, but you weren't going to stick around for that because you didn't understand the technology. You probably would have lost it, sold it way earlier, whatever it may be. I want people to start looking at this as understanding there's a variety of ways to benefit from it. One is just holding it, just putting your treasury asset. Every prec, every realtor, every family household is going to have some sort of Bitcoin holdings.
Yeah.
So whether you start now or in 10 years, that's going to be up to you to decide on what's going to be better off for you in the future.
Sure.
It is a long-term holding. But then there's lots of people that can start businesses in it. There's a lot of people that can invest in businesses. Like Bitcoin's only 17 years old. The internet is 40, and we just got AI.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very
It took
true.
40 years for us to just get to this level,
Sure.
and we're
Yeah.
just taking off now.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin is not even an adult. It's still like an adolescent teenager.
Sure.
And so there's a very, very long way for it to grow, a huge way to grow. With my realtors, I always tell them, like I even said at the talk at your event last week, the speculators buying raw land, that was the first 15 years. People that were just buying and holding because they're like, someone's going to come want to build on this.
Yeah, sure.
Now you've got the developers coming in, building the plumbing and the roads and all this different stuff. The next 10 to 15 years is when everyone's going to move in.
Yes.
Right? So there's still a lot of work to be done in this space. A lot of opportunity.
So you're in real estate. I'm sure you invested in real estate as well. Do you invest in anything else, like the stocks, bonds, mutual funds, crypto? Are you all in on crypto?
So I do real estate developing. If I see an opportunity where I can sever a property, I can increase the value of it. Right now, I haven't touched any real estate because I think we're in a bit of a correction that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But primarily, I'm in Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related ecosystems. So we've got mining sites, we've got a lending company. So like I've got my hands full with those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But I haven't touched stocks or GICs or anything like that in almost a decade.
Well, we met someone not too long ago, and we were talking about
the
different cycles, and and you see it all over. Like I've been sharing some, videos and
people are calling it.
People are calling it like
October.
Like what's happening in October?
With this market cycle?
For this market cycle,
so
crypto.
usually they say that it's going to time up with political elections.
Yes.
It's usually not the midterms. It's usually the actual presidential elections that it lines up with. I don't get caught up in the timing of it or the hype of it. That's like somebody saying, guys, the real estate market's going to pop in October.
Yeah.
It's like reading tea leaves.
Yeah.
At
And
the
no
end
one
of the
has
day,
that crystal ball.
Everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going to happen. And I stopped making price predictions or predictions on what's going to happen like 5 years ago. Because honestly, I don't know. I don't want to say anything that's going to be off the record or like going to be wrong because 99% of it's going to be wrong. Mm-hmm. I just say, look at this asset. It's 2026. Don't even think about selling till 2030. If you're not thinking 2030 or beyond, you're not thinking long term.
2030 is not that far away.
So only 4 years.
4 years. So what do you see in 4 years for Bitcoin?
There's never been a losing cycle for a holder of 4 years. So if you look at any trajectory of somebody holding Bitcoin for 4 years or more, they've never had a losing time frame.
Okay.
You've lost if you held it 6 months, you bought at the peak, you sold at the bottom.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people that lost it. But if you just held steady and just kept dollar cost averaging actually, and I've bought at the peak, at the most recent, I bought at $170,000.
Yeah.
Like people think, oh, he's in Bitcoin. No, this is like, I operate off of this. This is, I interact with the Canadian government's money as a way to transact, but I don't use it as a store of value because some person I don't know can just press a button and print a bunch of it out of thin air.
And that's probably the reality of what's going to happen.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Devaluing our currency is a mathematical guarantee. And it's not just Canada. It's every single fiat currency around the world. Started by the US.
Well, I think there's going to be a huge monetary shift. Like something's going to happen. We're right at the cusp of it.
I agree.
In terms of centralization?
In terms, just the whole monetary system, I feel like has to change because
It's dated.
at what point, yeah, exactly. It's dated, but also like people relied on the dollar for so much and they've just been like, getting out of debt through printing money, through inflation. And inflation is just
Pumping
another way
it
of robbing you for your money.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, like even in our industry, like you talk about, the baby boomers, they were able to buy a house for maybe, 3 times, 4 times what their income is. Now it's like
Bingo.
20 times.
Yeah.
And that's inflation. So like it can only go on for so long. You can kick the can down the road for so long. And then, that book, The Great Reset, like it's coming.
100%. And that's the thing is this is a story as old as time. Like ancient Rome, gold coins.
Yeah.
The coins were actual gold, and then they started diluting the gold, diluting it more and more and
Clipping
more
it.
until eventually it was no gold in it at all, and then civilization eventually slowly collapsed. It happens in more real time with us because everything's a lot quicker, everything's purely digital. But everyone thinks that this monetary system that we're in is like natural. It's not.
It's not.
Like since 1971, like they took us off the gold standard temporarily. Well, your dollars were actually in exchange for gold that was being held in reserves.
Correct.
Right? So for the last 50 plus years, there's been no tether to reality. Right? And so everyone wants to tell you there's nothing wrong with it. You can print money out of thin air. No, money is a representation of the work you've put in. You exchange your time for money, and yet somebody you don't know can print more. And so, I don't want to be a doomsdayer. And I think at the end of the day, I would love to see Bitcoin adoption so people can slowly transition over to it as opposed to a rapid collapse where everyone's kind of left holding nothing.
A lot of people are comparing gold to Bitcoin. Like that's the new digital gold. Like, would you say that's a fair assessment?
I would say so. I'd say it's a good equivalent to give you a better understanding of this asset, but Bitcoin is fundamentally better than gold.
Correct, because you can trade it. You don't have to physically.
That's
carry
it. The velocity that it transfers. Like imagine you having $1 billion worth of gold in Japan, and you trying to send me the gold in Germany or whatever. The cost and you can send that back and forth 100 times a day for pennies. Yeah. And so the biggest issue for people is the tangible aspect. They just can't get beyond the fact that they can't hold it or feel it, which I get. It's a very weird concept, but it was the same with CDs and MP3s and everything goes digital, right? And so, no, I think more and more people are getting on. And the fact that the gold comparison is becoming more normal.
Yes.
Whereas before, if I would tell my uncles who are gold bugs, Bitcoin is digital gold, try telling that to a Middle Eastern jeweler. They're like, you're out of your mind, right? So
we're not family anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So people are understanding, and the Overton window has shifted. You've got the United States now has a Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act. Like politicians are talking about it. It's becoming a lot more open, whereas before, you're either crazy, an anarchist, or a criminal.
Sure.
If you bring this word up.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was like initially being used for.
Yeah. Criminals are going to use technology too, and
course.
criminals are going to use a money that's like easier to use. Bitcoin is a great money. And so, criminals use the internet, and criminals are going to keep using all the new technologies that are coming across. And they were the ones that really jumped onto it in the initial stages. Because again, governments don't want to look at, they're like, we don't want to,
taboo.
they want to ignore it. Yeah. Whereas now it can't be ignored. The people want this innovation.
Yeah, I think once we get to a point where you can actually make purchases with Bitcoin, like let's say you want to buy a house and you want to use your down payment through Bitcoin or anything, like even getting a loan against it, collateral, I think that's when everything is going to change.
And that's
how far away do you think we are from that?
Another decade. So that's what when I was saying the developers coming in.
Because of regulations.
Regulations, that's it. So right now, we're building the infrastructure of the plumbing. Like I said, the developers are coming in for the roads and hydro lines and all this kind of stuff. And once the regulators are allowing it to happen, you're going to see a lot more stuff come to market where realtors are going to be able to you're going to get paid in Bitcoin. So imagine instead of waiting for a check, like right now, think about it. In 2026, you guys deal with all the technology of AI, but when you have a real estate deal closed, one person signs a paper, mails it through the Canada Post, that other person grabs it, and they wait It's insane that they take this long.
Sure.
And so transactions are going to happen faster. Closings are going to happen quicker. But the foundations need to be built still.
Do you remember a couple of years ago, it was like Meta came out with this whole like what was it, the metaverse?
The metaverse,
The metaverse. I just remember Bitcoin, like in terms of day-to-day conversation, became popular again because the whole idea within the metaverse where you could do transactions where you could buy real estate in the metaverse with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What happens to...
So again, it was a group of people made a marketing story and were selling people an idea based on their misconceptions about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is the real digital real estate because there is no issuer. There's nobody saying, hey, I'm going to sell you this Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an open protocol. You can verify it. Everything is, you can check yourself. Meta was a company saying, hey, we're going to create this digital world. But they've made the assumption that everyone's going to move to their digital world. And no, they've got 1,000,001 different competitors of their digital world.
Yeah.
So you're going to see digital worlds, but all the digital worlds might have currencies, but the second you leave that digital world, you're going to trade into Bitcoin.
Yes.
Bitcoin is going to be that digital connector. That's going to connect the entire digital economy around the world.
It's such an interesting thing to wrap your head around because like you said, like I think the hardest part to wrap your head around is it's almost fugazi for some people, right? Because you can't actually see it. And I think that's where people struggled with things like, what do you mean metaverse or an alternate reality where I'm a lot better than I am now? I tried it, trust me, it didn't. I had to come back to this one.
Like if you think about this, Keith, like let's say 3 years ago, if somebody told you the capabilities of AI, of what it can do today that you know of, would you have believed it back then?
I'd say that there's a possibility. I don't know if that timeline.
I wouldn't have believed it.
I think I would have believed that like artificial intelligence has been talked about for decades, like as a cool thing. But if you told me 3 years ago what it would be today, I wouldn't have believed you.
Correct.
There's a movie in the 90s. It's a Disney old movie about a smart home. And that's what I thought artificial intelligence was up until 4 years ago. I didn't think that we would have what we have today. But it's not alarming. But it's thought provoking because it's like, okay, where are we in another 3 years?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like
so the point of me even asking that question is like I think it's fair to say that everyone feels that something's changed, something's happening in the world.
It's something in the air.
It's global. Something's happening. Yeah. Everything's shifting. Everything's changing. It's not just real estate. It's not just stocks. It's not investments. It's not, just a monetary system. It's not governments. It's the whole world. There's something that's happening. We're in this era where things are about to shift, and it's AI, it's crypto, and Bitcoin, and I think that's definitely the future. I think that if you're not invested in it, even to some capacity, you're going to get left behind. So my question to you would be,
100%.
like, what percentage of someone's net worth in investments should be in Bitcoin today?
Okay.
Minimum.
So I 100% agree with your comment about everything is shifting. It's that, I don't know who says it, but it's like there's decades where nothing happens and then there's weeks where decades happen.
Yes.
And we're in those weeks,
We're in the weeks.
where like
Yes.
everything is just being reorganized for a variety of different reasons. I also agree with, if you do not have Bitcoin when the shift happens, when AI really hits, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
How much should you have? I will never tell somebody what to own. I'm not a financial advisor.
Sure.
Bitcoin is not a regulated asset, but at the end of the day, I just tell people the only wrong answer is zero.
Correct.
If you have zero, then you're dropping the ball. Have 1%. If you're worth $100, buy $1. If you're worth $1 million, buy 10,000 worth. Just get that non-zero allocation and get skin in the game.
Yeah.
And then start researching it and see what you think. And it's not like a one-time like buy it and be done with it. No, like you have every company, and this is what we're going to be launching soon, is a Bitcoin treasury strategy. So it's like, as a real estate office, what is our strategy? What are we going to have in reserves for our like rainy day? How much of our positive net income are we going to allocate to Bitcoin? Like these are questions everybody needs to start having for the long term. It's not like a one time, like, do I want to buy it, hold it, and forget it? No, like, how are you adopting Bitcoin the same way as how am I adopting AI in my business?
Yep.
Right? And AI has just jumped over Bitcoin in the sense of like everyone embracing it because it's more, you see it right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You do something and it's just boom, everything's right there, which is great. But I think now that they've gone through the AI bit, now they're more comfortable. They're like, okay, we saw this, we understood it, we embraced AI, and we're going to keep getting better at it. The way you're using AI now is very different than what you're doing a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got more comfortable with it, the technology got better,
Sure.
so you got better. And the same thing is with Bitcoin. The key is having that conversation now. If you're a real estate developer and you've got $1 million sitting in cash, insanity. At least 10% should be sitting in Bitcoin, right? And so everybody has different risk tolerances and different priorities, but everyone should be having the same conversations. They're gonna have different answers, but the conversation should be there.
Absolutely.
Have you been getting any specific, like when you're having these conversations with people and telling them what questions they should be asking themselves, are you finding, I guess, within the last maybe 12 to 24 months that people are finally coming around and really asking themselves these questions? Are you still getting the same type of pushback or challenges in some sort of degree that you were before? Because some people they look at something like it's a silver lining and they never find it, right?
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink
Fair.
it. And so my conversations have changed because I openly will not debate.
Right.
I couldn't care less anymore.
Got it.
You don't want this, I understand, God bless, good luck. I only talk to the people that want to talk about what I'm talking about. So my conversations have gone better because my screening process has gone better. I'm not here trying to sell, I'm here advising and consulting people.
Absolutely.
But the conversations are getting more nuanced. They're understanding more. I talk to a lot of family offices, a lot of wealth advisors, and they're coming along to it because for the longest time, wealth advisors would say no. I'd have clients saying, I want to buy a Bitcoin, and their advisor would say, don't you do it, and would object to it. Well, now the advisor has to have a good reason as to why.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you telling me to avoid the best performing asset of the last 17 years?
Yeah.
And so they don't want to lose their jobs. So now everyone's kind of getting in line because they're realizing this thing is here to stay.
So obviously, you're all in on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like you believe in it, you have faith in it, that it's the future. So the people, just to play devil's advocate, like what would be some of the reasons for people to say, like, it's going to zero? Because you hear about that. Or that it's, not going anywhere. What would be some of, like, just being a devil's advocate?
Yeah, no. Listen, I used to run these exercises in my head when I was first going through the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's going to zero. It's honestly a nonsensical argument. If somebody's basing their argument on price, that's fine. I'm not making price predictions. I don't care what the price is going to be tomorrow. I know this is the first time in humanity that we have an innovation or a technology like electricity, car, the PC, Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is a technology that has a dollar sign attached to it. Every other one is just kind of was adopted and it just kind of industries were built on it. You can see Bitcoin's adoption because it's an open ledger. You can see the number of addresses. You can see the price. The price is a reflection of adoption. It does go through the cycles, but the 200-day moving average, it's a straight line up and to the right. And so I tell people, don't get caught up on the short-term noise of the price. Because like imagine somebody saying real estate in Durham is a bad bet because look what happened to the price over the last 2 years. Well, okay, but zoom out and you'll see where the price went 10 years prior to that, right? Price action is not an indication of the innovation. Beyond that, it's not going to go anywhere. That's the easiest one to answer because it's a technology. Nobody forced me to adopt Bitcoin. Nobody. It's actually, there's been no bailouts. There's been no government help with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gone through God knows how many different ups and downs, and it has corrected itself because it's open technology that people have voluntarily adopted. You can ignore it or you can adopt it. Those are the two choices. The only issue we have is if the people who don't want to adopt it are trying to tell the people that want to adopt it that they can't. That's where we've actually got like an issue. But that's not happening in Canada. It's not happening around the free world. So it's fine. Don't use the innovation. Don't use AI. Don't use the internet. It doesn't matter. The people who are going to continue to build with this.
Yeah.
And they're doing it.
We live in this world where everything's connected to another, right?
Yep.
Like with interest rates go up, it's because inflation is high.
Right.
And then that impacts the economy and then the job market. And then, real estate prices go down when rates go up, and it's vice versa. And there's just so many things that's connected. So is Bitcoin connected to that? And how does that get impacted with everything else? Like the economy right now, let's face it, it sucks.
Yep.
We are in a recession. The G7 countries were the worst.
We're the worst.
Economic growth. People are leaving Ontario. People are leaving Canada. The job market sucks. We talked about that. Interest rates were supposed to go down, but because inflation's so high, it keeps on going up. The energy crisis. There's so many things that's all interconnected. So where does Bitcoin stand amongst all that?
It's a really good question. Okay. Bitcoin is still very tiny when you compare it to the global economy. The global economy is $400 trillion and different
What is
types
the
of-
market cap right now?
$1 trillion, $1.5 trillion.
Okay.
Okay. Still very, very tiny. So right now it is going with the waves. The war broke out, Bitcoin dropped.
Yeah.
SpaceX IPO, people liquidating to put it into that. So like it is still very reactive. Eventually it will get so big that it won't react to these outside pressures. But for the next decade or two, it's still going with the flow of what these things are doing in the short term. In the long run, a lot of people are starting to move towards Bitcoin because they're seeing the benefits of it. A lot of real estate, and again, I've been a real estate investor for many years. A lot of real estate investors that are my clients now are moving away from real estate and going into Bitcoin because not only are the returns better, but it's less upkeep, less maintenance. You don't have an asshole tenant that's not paying you and you've got to act like you're the bad guy. And the government's backing the tenant up who's squatting.
Oh, man.
Property taxes. All these different things start compounding and people start saying, wait a minute, it's a lot simpler to just hold this digital asset.
Sure.
Right? And so what I think is going to happen is you're going to see the monetary premium going away from real estate, collectibles, art, different things, and funneling into Bitcoin.
And it's so funny you say that because the conversation you and I have all the time is like I'm personally liquidating my real estate portfolio, period. I'm getting rid of everything, including my principal residence, and I'm putting it in opportunities, which is like crypto, which is like other things where there's real value.
There you go.
Because it just doesn't make sense anymore. So when I first started buying properties, I would buy a townhouse for like $200,000, and the rents that I would get, I'd be positive cash flow. They're paying down my principal as well. I'm like, this is a win. So I just kept on doing that, and then now I'm at a point where if I buy something and I rent it out, I'm out of pocket $2,000. Then on top of that, I'm dealing with the risk of a bad tenant. I'm dealing with maintenance. It just doesn't make sense anymore, especially here. Plus interest rates, right? So it just doesn't make sense. So if I'm doing it, so I can only imagine who else is doing it.
And 3-5 years ago, people were doing cash flow negative and they were fine with it because the appreciation was at least going to recoup it.
That did all the
which was
heavy
still
lifting.
crazy to me, which was like, okay, I get it, but that's going to stop eventually because it's not going to just keep appreciating. Now we're at a point, you're cash flow negative and it's not appreciating. What's the point? So, but I think that's a good thing because it's going to eventually reprice things and real estate's going to come back to its fundamentals. People were getting upset. Oh, I only made $100,000 on my principal residence. Well, that's not normal. That's not a healthy economy, right? And so the warning signs were there, and now we're going to be dealing with some sideways, choppy action for the next little while. And I think there's going to be a lot of people doing what you're doing, which is saying, like, let me go look at, explore other opportunities. Because there's a lot of opportunities.
There's a lot of opportunities. And you know what's actually interesting? In this room, not too long ago, I was sitting down with some developers. And before COVID, these guys' net worth were probably 20, 30 million. They had so many projects, and they're going into receivership for everything because they over leveraged.
That's it.
So you hear all these stories about people losing money in Bitcoin, and then real estate's a safe investment. No, real estate's not a safe investment. I know so many people that have lost their shirts.
That's it.
And like to your point, it's just, it requires so much effort. It's like it requires so much of your time and effort and energy. So it's not really passive. It's a very active.
It's very active.
Yeah.
Right.
And like debt, again, we were for 10 years free debt. So that completely changes the monetary premium of everything. It's like, okay, I can take free money and put it in an asset that's going to go up, and the leverage play was there. Well, that free money train is over. Now everything's going to get repriced, and the people that took on way too much debt are going to get in a world of hurt, but then it'll correct itself.
So one of the things about real estate that was great in comparison to other investments, let's say, a few years ago, was that you could leverage. You could put 20% down and 80% you could borrow, and then you're getting depreciation on the full 100%.
Yeah.
So the cash on cash investment made a lot of sense. Can you leverage with Bitcoin in a way?
That's a good question.
Yeah, you can. It's inverted.
Yes.
So with the way we do lending, it's over collateralized. So if you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, you can get $50,000 the next day. No credit check, no income check, no nothing, because you have the collateral. So you're over collateralized loan. So you give $100,000, it's held with a third-party custodian. So we're not even holding it. We're holding it with somebody whose sole job is holding billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. So they've got really good security practices. They're holding it in an address that all three of us can see and check in real time. So that's another thing that really Bitcoin prevents is fraud. Because you can't bullshit somebody on Bitcoin.
No.
You can't lie. It's transparent, open ledger. Anything that happens is there forever. And so you give us $100,000, we put it in custody agreement with our custodian, we lend you the $50,000. You don't even have to make payments on it. The interest gets tacked on to the amount owing. The only thing you got to make sure is you're within your health check. So until the loan value goes to $75,000 on $100,000 collateral, then you got to either pay down the loan or add more collateral. But that's it.
Wow. I think not many people know that. I think that if more people knew that, I think a lot more people I know at least would be having the conversations around transitioning where their
we are
wealth
in
is.
the top of the first inning. There are only two companies in Canada right now that have exempt market relief. We're going to be one of the next ones coming up now. And it's something we've worked on a very long time with the regulators because they want to be very safe and cautious, which we understand. But there is billions flowing just on the lending side. So I tell my private mortgage people, I got a lot of friends and family who invest money in private mortgages, and with the things they got to do to get their 8 to 10% return, 8% return in the Bitcoin world is much more calm and convenient than what you have to do right now in the fiat world.
Oh yeah.
Right? And so the goal is education and letting people know what opportunities are out there. It's not just the lending, it's Bitcoin mining, the energy sector, like everything that Bitcoin touches, because nobody understands yet, and we're plugging in all the opportunities.
Yeah, and
so there's just so much happening.
And I can appreciate
is
that.
Very risky.
Yeah. And I can appreciate your advisory approach, and you coming from real estate. How have you seen it, and maybe how many clients have you been able to transition over from saying I'm a developer or I'm just an end user to investing in Bitcoin over the years?
Quite a few. And again, like when I first came out with it, I lost big clients because I said the word Bitcoin. I lost coworkers, friends in the business, and I had lost friends who got scammed in the crypto space because they kept thinking crypto and Bitcoin is the same thing.
Correct.
So it was reputational suicide when I first came out and said I'm into Bitcoin and I founded a company. So it was very, very difficult. But because our messaging has been the same for 6-7 years, it's just like stick to Bitcoin, don't trade, don't do all that crazy stuff. People are now saying, okay, they kind of haven't changed their wording. It's the same thing. Now we're getting more people coming to us. But for the 8%, just to give you guys an example of like how, I'm not allowed to say guaranteed because nothing in life is guaranteed.
Disclaimer.
Right. Disclaimer, not financial advice. So we've got our company, it's called Digital Wealth Management, okay? So we're the ones that are facilitating it. We got the custodians, we built the software. We're the ones that are facilitating everything on the network. A lender comes in and wants to borrow against their Bitcoin. We will lend against their Bitcoin for 12%.
Got it.
Okay? 12% and a 1% origination fee. All right. So you give me the 100,000, I give you 49,000 because it's the 1% or 49.5, 1% origination. Now I'm not funding that. What we've done is we've spoken to our private lender people and saying, hey, it's the same thing of a private mortgage, but fund this instead, and we're going to give you 8%. And the collateral, if your collateral drops to a certain level that is risky, we execute automatically and you actually get a remainder of your collateral back, and the actual lender is never out of pocket. So it is liquid. It's not like a real estate loan where you want to liquidate. It's going to take you 3 months, court, power of sale, all this kind of stuff. We do it instantaneously. So it is just a different world. And that is 8% for them. It's a lot easier, a lot less risk. The only risk is it's new.
Yes.
And they're not comfortable with it. And that's what's happening is we're getting there.
So just a question for the audience, right?
Yeah.
So somebody that's listening to this and they're like, okay, all right, maybe there's something there. I just don't know where to begin. Like, what would be the first place that you would send
Great
them
question.
to at least to start? Because you don't know what you don't know until you discover it.
Look, if you want, go to onebitcoin.ca. There's all the information you need there. If you actually need help and resources, I can't go into hour-long diatribes with everybody that will DM me, but I would love to point you the right resource, give you the right book or whatever it is. This is something that you have to take the onus yourself. You have to lead the way. It's even with AI. It's not like you can ask somebody to do the AI for you. You got to mess up. You got to play with it. You got to get comfortable with it.
For sure.
It's the same thing with Bitcoin. I recommend download a Bitcoin wallet today, right now. Go to your app store, download the Blue Wallet. It's an open source Bitcoin only wallet. Go sign up with a Bitcoin exchange and buy $10 worth of Bitcoin and feel it and see what just happened so you can get a better understanding of what this technology is. Once you go through that, then you're going to have a little bit more of a foundation you can build on. But until you actually use the technology, it's nothing like you've ever done. I have a lot of people that say, I bought Bitcoin and it's on this exchange. Well, you have it? Well, no, it's on the exchange. Well, then you don't have Bitcoin. You have a claim on Bitcoin.
Correct.
The true innovation of Bitcoin, it's your asset. Right? Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. It's the fundamental crux of what we talk about in Bitcoin. So if you have to ask somebody to get you your Bitcoin, it's not your Bitcoin. Same thing as if your gold is with somebody, you're like, hey, can I get my gold? You're relying on them to saying, yes, you can have it or no.
Yes.
Right? So, look, there's a lot of resources out there. I'd love to help answer questions for anybody that actually wants to learn more, but start with actually playing with the technology yourself. Download a wallet, download a node. It's a never-ending thing. Like, I'm still learning to this day. So you're not going to be done. Like, you're like, all right, I'm done. I know everything.
It evolves, too.
That's it. It evolves. Yeah. And so just start today.
I know you have some rapid-fire questions.
Yeah, and I think that even before we jump into that, you know, guiding people to go to the App Store and download is a Blue Wallet, you said? Blue Wallet, and then starting from there. That's a great starting point because that's the best way to learn is to jump in.
That's it.
Right? And it's so ever-changing. Like you said, Bitcoin is an adolescent teenager right now.
It.
So if it's still having attitude problems.
Yeah.
Whereas, you're going to watch it evolve into a human being that's
it.
ideally successful, right? So yeah, want to jump into some...
Before you jump in there, just one last thing for the people that are listening. When you're investing in something, you want to go to a developing area. Like, let's use real estate as an example.
Yeah.
If you're investing in real estate, you want to go to developing countries.
Yep.
Because that's where the growth is. If you go to established place, like the growth has already peaked,
100%.
You're not going to get the same returns. So as you mentioned, Bitcoin is at its infancy stages. Like, there's just so much opportunity. And regardless if it's 1%, 10%, whatever it is, you got to have at least some skin in the game.
100%.
And if you don't, you're going to kick yourself in the ass probably 5 years from now.
It'll be a very, very big mistake. Yeah,
absolutely.
I 100% agree with that.
So yeah, Keith, take it away.
the saying as old as it gets, it's time in the market, not timing the market.
Bingo.
Right?
That's it.
You were a realtor.
Yeah.
So I always ask everyone that was on here, that is a realtor or was a realtor. You're still a realtor. You have your license.
Still a realtor. I got my license. I still pay my dues.
Trev loves you, right?
Yeah.
What was the first big thing you bought with your first commission check?
Oh my God. I went on a big thing. It wasn't a thing. I just went on a night out.
Yeah.
We went out. I'll never forget. It was Hooters. And then the pitchers ended up taking a cab. We went to Century Room in downtown.
Okay.
And it was just like a bottle service. I was enjoying myself. I ended up buying a couple little knickknacks for my sister. And then I got my first paycheck. And I was like, that's not what I thought I was going to get paid. And then withholding, the royalties, all that kind of stuff. So it was a very expensive lesson my first time. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. This is not on here, but you mentioned this. You've lost friends. You've lost certain individuals to Bitcoin. Who is the closest person that you've lost in terms of a relationship because of your affinity to Bitcoin?
Well, I've lost a few. It's unfortunate. I've actually lost a few notable people that I held in really high regard. One of my real estate mentors, somebody that I really looked up to. He's an OG. Love this guy. But the second Bitcoin came up, and it went from skepticism and then unfortunately jealousy. And it was two-pronged reasons as to why our relationship kind of fell apart. But it wasn't a unique story. I lost a lot of people. Again, the stigma was really bad, and I was very open and blunt with it when I first came out talking about it, because I just knew. It was like, you know what? I'm going to rub people the wrong way. It is what it is.
You know what's interesting before you jump to the next question? I feel like when somebody that believes in Bitcoin and then there's somebody on the other side, it feels like you're challenging their belief system, like their faith and their religion.
1,000%.
Yeah, wow. It's like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's why I was, again, when I first came into it, I was a lot more aggressive with it. Whereas now it's just like,
sure,
if you want to talk about it, feel free to bring it up, but I won't. But before I was, like, again, the reason Bitcoiners are so obnoxious is because we really believe in this and we're like, this is something that's going to help everybody. We see the pain that people go through with some of the nurses in Ontario. It blows me away. Bill 112, they've overturned it now. But there was a period in Ontario where our nurses got 1% raise a year. 1%, when the actual notable inflation rate is 7
at least,
and they're saying their goal is 2%. So even if they're hitting their 2%, you're expecting our nurses to make less. And so it was just like, we know this is the solution to the problem. Sure. And that's why we're just like trying to get right to the core of things. But you're right. Some people feel like you're attacking their worldview because their worldview is, no, the government makes the money and you talking about money is not good.
Yeah.
There's political wars, there's religious wars, there's going to be the Bitcoin wars. What's more likely, Bitcoin hits $1 million USD or Canada fixes housing affordability?
Canada. Bitcoin hits 1 million.
That's more likely than
That's way more likely. Yeah, that's actually 100%. Bitcoin is going to hit 1 million.
Yeah.
And I'd give the odds of affordability in Canada like less than 5%.
So we're battling the inevitable versus a guess.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, if I was to give you 100 grand cash, let's call it Canadian, right here today, how are you allocating this?
Me personally, if I'm brand new to the game,
yes,
100,000 with somebody brand new, I just put it in Bitcoin. Don't invest in companies in this space. Don't invest in mining operations. Don't invest in different things. Put your allocation in Bitcoin. Once you feel like you're comfortable with the Bitcoin allocation, then you can start getting into the funding, like Bitcoin-backed loans, different operations. But if you're brand new and somebody you got 100,000, just put it in Bitcoin, forget it, and you're going to do better off than anybody in your circle.
Great answer. Now I got a question for you. As the guy, would you say over the years that, and I wanted you to look at this like in different parallels, would you say this has made you more of an optimistic person or a more cynical person?
Ooh, damn, that's a really good question. I think a little bit of both. Sometimes you can get really stuck in a rut of like feeling dejected with how so many people are ignoring the solution that's in front of them. But then you're stuck to losing propositions. So I've been a lot more optimistic in the sense of, no, I can't worry about the people that are ignoring the solution. I can only focus on what I can, which is building the products, getting the messaging out there, and connecting with the people who actually understand it. And then by connecting with the people, I've become more optimistic. Wow. So when I was on my own, very cynical. Very cynical. Connecting with people, I've been dealing with a lot of people in Alberta who really get it. Their politicians are light years ahead than any of the other politicians in Canada. And so when you connect with the other people, and you all have different walks of life, different ethoses, but when you understand, you know what? We're building on a money that can't be printed by any other person. We're all working on the same level. That changes everything.
So one of the things that I just want to point out is that we've been so used to the systems that the governments have put in place. We, as Canadians, we're very trusting people, and we put a lot of trust and faith into our politicians, our governments, and our systems, and our banks, and all that. So we're almost living in this like fantasy land, right? And we've all seen that movie Matrix. You know, are you going to take the red pill? And then when you take that red pill, and I feel like if you take that red pill, you're going to start looking into Bitcoin. And then once you, like you mentioned, you know, just dabble into it a little bit, like you're going to wake up. You're going to say, holy shit, this isn't the world that I live in. The truth, the reality is this.
And we call it orange pill. Take the orange pill.
Is that what you call it?
It's the big, like when you understand the monetary policies. And again, it's not to say like Canada, everyone's got their political beliefs and all these different things. But when you just forget the political values, forget what aisle of the party you support, what team your colors are, think about the system that we're in. We live in a system where the money is printed out of thin air.
Yeah.
Somebody has access to a money printer. We don't have access to that printer. No. We'd go to jail if we printed money out of thin air. And everyone would love to have their own money printer. But people in power have access to the money printer, and yet they still tax almost 50% of every dollar that you earn. And yet somehow the problems are getting worse and they're not getting fixed.
Yeah.
And they just keep saying, give us a little bit more money and we're going to solve it. And so it just doesn't make sense. And when you're living in a world where money can be printed out of thin air, that's distorting the most basic reality.
So technically, they don't have to tax us. They could just print
of
more
it.
money.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So one way or the other, they're still taking
you're
money
still
from
taking
us
money
because
from us.
inflation is just another form of
Bingo.
robbery.
And so like for me, it's not advocating for any political party. I want all of them to adopt Bitcoin and tell me how they're going to implement Bitcoin. That's it.
Yeah.
So I want them all to use it.
Okay, when you talk about Bitcoin adoption, which country adopts it the fastest and the best?
Right now, the countries that are already adopting it is El Salvador.
Cool.
They're way ahead of the curve. But they have a leader that had vision and has the power to make decisions and like round up all the criminals through the, people are like fighting his human rights campaigns. Meanwhile, ask the people on the ground who are living there, he's changed their lives.
It went from the most dangerous country to the safest country in a matter of a very short period of time.
But you have to have the political appetite to do that.
Sure.
El Salvador is one of the main ones. The ones who are going to adopt are the ones who need a use case. Canadians don't need it because we're comfortable. Everything's good. The roads are paved. We're paying our taxes, but nobody's
We don't need
hungry.
big change.
Nothing. That's it. There's no use for it.
Yeah.
And so the countries that adopt it are the ones that are going to feel the pain of inflation and the U.S. dollar issues. Iran is getting payment for insurance for the Strait of Hormuz from Bitcoin. Why? Because they couldn't use the SWIFT system because the U.S. blocked them. Russia is using Bitcoin because they got kicked off. $300 billion worth of their money got frozen. So it's the people who need it. And this is the part that bothers people. Bitcoin is for everyone, even your enemies. The same way the internet is for everyone. So people are like, well, the bad people. No, it's like everyone's going to use this because it's a technology that nobody has power to prevent you from using.
Correct.
Right? So
Insane.
the people whose use cases comes up, unfortunately with Canada as a government, I don't see them adopting it anytime soon. I think we're going to drop the ball, but I'm very optimistic on the people in Canada because they're wealthier than the average person around the world, some of them, and they have better financial knowledge and they've got the ability and the information in front of them.
So one of the things that you hear pretty consistently is that America's superpower isn't the nuclear bombs that they have, it's the American dollar, so the power that they have.
That's it. And now what they're using, and this is one lucky thing for them, because if it wasn't for Bitcoin and stable coins, the US would be collapsing. But now you're seeing them adopt Bitcoin is because they're going to just shovel everything and go into the digital asset space. So they're going to actually kind of ride out and be able to get away from this huge debt bubble because of how they're adopting Bitcoin and stable coins. And so when people look into it, they're going to find how they can implement it in their lives and they're going to benefit regardless of where they are, what the use case is.
Yeah, these are the best answers, man. We could wrap it up here. What, in your opinion, does it mean to be built different?
Oh, built different, go against the crowd.
Yeah.
Don't succumb to, public pressure. To have your own heartbeat in the sense of like how you operate, have your own North Star and just do what you need to do to get there, regardless of how difficult it is or how many challenges get thrown your way. Just different.
And honestly, with that, I feel like we can drop the mic. That was you have some great sound bites for this, by the way. Your social's gonna go
Love it, man.
for this. It was more than a pleasure.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Because I wanted to ask you about you talk about like U.S. changing over. Like, have you heard of Tether? Is kind of Tether the company
Tether's
that's
a stable coin.
Yeah.
And Europe is banning them.
Yeah.
But other Latin American countries has adopted. A lot of people want Tether instead of Bitcoin because Bitcoin's volatile.
The people that are in power, they don't want things to change because things are working for them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Perfect.
Yeah, you don't want...
But there's always going to be a cycle. Listen, empires always collapse from within. And when they are being resistant to evolution, they're going to collapse. Just like the
100%.
Roman Empire, just like the Persian
That's
Empire.
it, yeah.
Every single empire
Stories all
collapses
the time.
only from within. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
It is.
And history repeats itself always. And
That's
I
it.
feel like I just woke up to it. So I had a good buddy of mine, and he got into Bitcoin, I would say, like hard and around 2020.
Okay.
You probably know Matt Sylvester.
Okay, yeah.
He's like, Waleed, you gotta get into Bitcoin. You gotta get into Bitcoin. I'm like, no, man, I'm getting into real estate. So I put everything into real estate development, severance, all that stuff, construction, whatnot. And he went all into Bitcoin. And I feel like he was ahead. I wish I listened to him.
Yep.
But now I'm like, holy shit, like I feel like I took that red pill.
That's it.
And I feel like I see the world for what it is, and because of what I'm looking at now, it's like unveiling a lot of other things. It's like, holy shit, like the government is a scam. Like why are we so centralized? The government doesn't need to be involved in every aspect of my life.
That's it.
They're just there for like, we just need the federal government. Why do we have so many different layers of it? And it's just like, okay, it's not just us, it's the world. Okay, all right. Like then you start putting things together and you're like, holy shit, okay, this isn't the world that I thought I lived in.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I
The
better
veil's been
smarten
lifted.
up. Yeah, I better
That's it.
smarten up before it's too late.
That's it.
Well,
No,
we
100%, man. And that's the thing is like it's not too late, right?
Yeah.
You still have a lot of opportunity.
I think so too. Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
We're still
Well,
early.
this was so good, and I hope somebody, like even one person, listens to it and then just at least opens their
That's
eyes
all.
so that they're able to
That's
I
my
just-
do
goal.
something for themselves. Just one person.
That's it.
all.
That's
I just
all,
hope
that's
they
it.
don't work for the government because Willie just said that the government is a scam. So keep our podcast up. If you see this,
That's what you get for banning my bank accounts for not paying you $1,000 CRA.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
man.
exactly. It's
No.
and again, that's why people a lot connect it with like people who are like right wing, and it's like no, it's a freedom
Yeah.
of like an asset,
Yeah.
right? And it's like we should all want freedom, whether you're liberal, conservative, we all want freedom. And
Well,
so
the reason why America and Canada, like, they blew up to be the
Okay, I guess
greatest
we're-
countries
countries to live in was because of freedom.
that's it.
Everybody left all these
Yeah.
other countries. Like, I'm an immigrant, he's an immigrant, she's an immigrant. We all, our families left those countries
That's
for
it.
freedom
Yeah.
and opportunity. And now I feel like, now we're like, we don't have that anymore like we used to. Canada's not
Canada-
the same
No.
country it used to
No,
be when
no,
I
no,
came.
hell no.
not at all.
Hell no, it's done. It's done.
Yeah. I'm very grateful that we've got what we've got in the States right now. Say what you will about the leader, like at the end of the day, the mentality and like the no, we're pushing back. It's the last bastion of freedom if you think about it. Like
is.
where else is there in the world?
A lot of people are going to the States for when they're getting their E2s.
Yeah,
and, like,
I'm opening up shop in Florida.
are you okay? Yeah. So we're looking into getting our E2 visas. Matt's leaving. Actually, put his house on the market.
No way.
So he's going to LA and Nashville.
Okay.
He's like.
Where would you
he's
guys be
out-
thinking about going?
Probably Nashville or Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
you
just-
can definitely have something up here, but I mean, if you don't do that now, once the new policies and laws come into place where they're gonna hold you here, like you're screwed. Then what are you gonna do? You can't move your assets unless if you're all in on Bitcoin.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's it. Because
It's freedom. It's
Yeah,
freedom.
100%.
Yeah. No, this was awesome, man. This is really
This was
cool.
great. This was
yeah, man, absolute pleasure.
Uh,
really appreciate the invite.
Yeah, and thank you for being a part of Grit as well.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry I had to leave. My dog ended up passing away.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had
man.
a bit of a family
Sorry for your
emergency,
loss, man.
So it was kind of a shit show last week.
yeah.
But no, I appreciate speaking, and
Yeah.
I'm always like I want the word to get out. I'm always here to
Absolutely.
to chat about it, and I really appreciate you guys inviting
Yeah,
me.
and then we'll have to get you as part of Limitless too. So
Okay.
that we've got 2,000 people that are going to be coming to the Pickering Casino. So we've got the Grand Arena there. We've got.
Didn't you guys just have that?
No, that was the party to
that
promote
was, that was the pre-launch party. Yeah, that was the big
They're
announcement that we
going
made.
crazy.
Okay.
So we've got the biggest names in sales and marketing. So it's not just real estate. It's like
No, Daniel G.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Tatiana
They
Landano.
brought Daniel G out.
Oh,
He's
shit.
coming. So
Okay.
we got Kevin Hamdan. Like we got some big names coming.
Sick.
So
Yeah, man, I'd love to.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.